welcome to another episode of the Wedding Wednesday Report. We're here with Holly Poulter from Pretty Please Events and we're talking wedding trends. We are now well into the year of 2014 and of course we want to know what's hot in the world of weddings for the forthcoming year. Holly, we know that Pantone's colour of the year for 2014 is Radiant Orchid and it's beautiful, we love it, but it's not the only colour around. So what we're interested in is other colours that you're seeing being the colours for 2014. What other palettes are around at the moment?
Well, I think pink is making a comeback and I think I'm really excited about it because it's very feminine and it's not been around for a long time, but now I think this year we're going to see a whole range of pinks from soft blush to hot magenta, whatever. It's something for everyone. But I think brights in general, to suit the Radiant Orchid, I think that there's going to be a whole spectrum of bright colours this year.
Which is exciting in itself.
It is. I think
who
brights
doesn't
are getting a
love
lot
bright
braver.
colour palettes?
Exactly. People are going to get a lot braver with their colour palettes and that's really exciting. So I think we're going to see a lot of oranges, a lot of yellows and a lot of exotic tropical colours, which will be fantastic.
Yeah, that is exciting. And I know that prior to Radiant Orchid being announced, some people decided to announce that Dazzling Blue, which is also one of the colours for summer 2014, was going to be the colour of the year. And of course that was a mistake because it was Radiant Orchid. But do you think we're going to see much of the blues making an appearance this year?
I think so. I think it's softer. I think that there'll always be something for everyone. So if Radiant Orchid's a little too brave for some people, then that kind of softer blue is something
safer
for other
option.
people. Yeah, so I mean there's something for everyone in that case and that's really nice.
Excellent. So patterns were absolutely huge in 2013 and I honestly don't think they're going anywhere for this year. But I know the big pattern of last year was definitely the chevron. It was huge here in the UK. But what do you think will be the pattern of the year for this year?
I think it's a contender between two. So there's a lot of big floral patterns coming out now and I think that's going to be so beautiful. But I also think that people are still really into the Great Gatsby and I think that Art Deco is still going to continue on and that's going to be, glitzy, glamour, very geometric. I think that's going to be following on for the next year. I must admit,
I do like the geometric trend and I do love the Great Gatsby and I think you're right, it often takes quite a long time for those trends that come through from the different films and that type of thing to actually go through the period of time and come out the other end. They don't stay for just 1 year and then disappear. They quite often have a shelf life of 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
so yeah, I think you're right. We probably will see more of the Great Gatsby this year too.
Good, I'm glad.
So another trend that I'm seeing appear all over the place really is that of transparency and translucent chairs and decor and not just in plastic vases but also even in things like marquees with clear tinting, that type of thing. Is this something that you're seeing at Pretty Please events? I
think so, and ghost chairs are always, they've been one of my favourite things for a long time now. I just think that they go with everything.
Yeah,
they can go with the ultra modern, but they can also be really romantic, and I think they just seem to go, and it shouldn't work, but it does, and I really like them. But I think the kind of transparency and translucent stuff is a great focal point for any wedding, and I think more people are going to start to do that as they get a bit bolder and braver.
It is quite versatile, isn't it? Yeah, I must admit, it's one of those trends that doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and I know certainly when you're in a smaller room, using the ghost chairs is a great way of making a room look bigger than what it actually is, especially if it's packed with chairs. Exactly. And I think they're starting to see more of a comeback now because I know certainly with things like chair covers, they're not as popular as what they were before. People are choosing to actually show the bare bones of the chair and maybe just tie a bow rather than actually having a fully covered chair. So it could be quite exciting to see how people are going to use the ghost chairs and actually bring them into 2014 with a different twist.
Definitely, and I think there's still options to do something illusionary when it comes to flowers. So you could display a great big floral display on something translucent, and it's got a kind of floating, ethereal way of presenting itself, and I think that would look amazing.
Well, I certainly hope so because it's not a trend I want to see going anywhere particularly fast. So whether we like it or not, social media is huge. It's not going anywhere. And I have to admit, every time I see a new social media channel, I have a heart attack because, between Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook, Google+, it's frightening the amount of stuff there is to do. But obviously people want to integrate it into weddings, and we're seeing things from live streaming of weddings to couples having their own hashtag, What are you seeing at the moment with social media? How are people integrating it into weddings?
I think Instagram is still very hot at the moment. I think it's a great way to keep guests busy, like with the personalised hashtag, but it's also a really nice way to get some of the photos that the photographer might have missed, or something a little bit more, you know, your guest on the table doing selfies or something, like the memories that you will cherish a bit more. But
I guess it's sort of taking those old cameras, the disposable cameras that people used to put on tables. I guess Instagram takes that to a whole new level.
Everyone's got one in their pocket. And I think another one of the coolest things I've seen a bride do with social media is that she stashed a tiny little GoPro in her bouquet, and she basically filmed the entire day from a completely different perspective, and she cut that together.
Cool.
It was just such a nice, like, kind of background look at what happened behind the scenes at the wedding, and it was just such a cool little shareable thing that you could give out to social media afterwards. It was really nice.
Oh, I'm sure that would have also caught some moments that even she might not have realised were going on either. So yeah, I do like that idea.
Nice.
That's something I'd not heard of before, so that's an interesting one. It'll be one to watch, I guess. So brunch has been big in the States for a long time. It's a concept that they have really embraced, and they do it very well. But brunch seems to be incorporated quite a bit now into wedding catering. So I guess if that is becoming a trend, what other catering trends are you seeing happening?
I think things are becoming very informal, and it's quite nice to see. So a lot of couples are going for things like food trucks for their evening reception. That was hot a lot last year.
Yeah,
but now
that was
I think
big.
It's continuing. So I've got a couple of brides at the moment who have ice cream trucks for their evening.
Yeah,
hot dog trucks. The works. Like it's such a nice treat, and it's so cool and carnivalesque. That kind of thing is really good. But also I'm seeing a lot of family style dining as well, not necessarily the seated buffet, but really things people like guests can dig into, and you can be a lot more creative with what you're putting on for your menu. And it also gets people chatting a little bit more, like, you know, passing things around, and guests who might not know each other on the tables. It's a great way of networking. Yeah, it's a great icebreaker.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously social dining is becoming a lot bigger. Anything else that you're seeing? Anything within the way of drinks? Because I know over in the States at the moment there's a lot going on with mixology. Cocktails, personal cocktails, where brides and grooms are having their own cocktails made for them, and that type of thing. So mixology is huge. Is that something that you're seeing here in the UK as well?
I think so. I mean, that's still going to carry on quite a lot. People really want to put their stamp on every single element of their wedding, and the drinks that you serve at the reception and throughout the day is exactly the perfect thing that you could do. So you could have a custom cocktail, you know, named after you two. It really embodies everything about your personalities, and you serve that to your guests. It's very memorable and gorgeous, tasty, everything. I think it's great.
Oh, good. I'm glad that's going to be a trend that we're seeing here. Well, I guess the last question I've got for you, are there any hot trends and tips that you can give us of things you're seeing that we haven't necessarily mentioned here today?
I'm really excited about the new evolution of the photo booth, which is the slow motion video booth. I'm desperate to get in one of them, but
I haven't done that yet, but I'm dying to do it. There was one recently at an event that we went to at the Wedding Ideas Awards, but the queue was so long I never got a chance to do it.
I know. Well, I think they're going to be the next big thing, because the photo booth has been around for ages, but this is breathing new life into a real lasting trend. And I think that's going to be quite popular. So hopefully when the prices are a little lower, that might be a good thing to do.
Then we might actually see more people doing it.
Exactly.
Well, that certainly is an exciting one, and it's one that I think, along with Instagram and everything else, will be very popular. Definitely. So thank you for coming along again and spending time with us, Holly. I hope people have got something from those trends that we're predicting, and I'm sure we'll see them well into 2014. So that wraps up another edition of the Wedding Wednesday Report. Don't forget, if you want to become a wedding planner, stylist or designer, then you need to check out our courses on our website, www.weddingplanningacademy.co.uk, and you too can be here with me on the video next year.